Hi everybody, this is the website boy again with another tutorial in the C programming language. Now, I thought that maybe I told you in the last tutorial that I might do another math tutorial, and I just realized that yeah, you do need a little bit more basics on math. First things first, I want to correct something that I kind of did not realize that I did on the last tutorial, and it's if you run this function here, this calculation, right? We went and ran it. You can see that if it runs, waiting and waiting, it says negative 30. And the reason why some of you saw that, I didn't pay mind to it. Um, the reason why that is, if you haven't realized, is because I have my variables flipped over. The numbers should be in the right side. It's just like the real numbers, if you do that in real life in a calculator, then you might get the negative numbers, right? So if we go ahead and save it and run and build it and run it, then we get the right number. All right. So now that's corrected. Just in case you get confused there with the negatives or the zero that I had before, because I had a zero also. It's just because my variables were backwards. But anyway, let me show you another thing here, and we're gonna be using a function called scanf just to get a user input. Now I don't want you to get too confused. That's why I don't want to go too fast for some of you out there. So hopefully I'm going slow enough so that way you can understand it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off, and I'm going to declare a float variable. um, this is gonna be a float variable a. uh, that's fine. I think that should be easy enough for you guys. And a float b, and this one we're gonna assign it a value of maybe 10.0. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and change this printf function to display something to the user so they can actually go ahead and input some information for us with the scanf function too. So we want to display something. We want to display add a value or add a number to the user, right? Want to display that. Then when the user, once we display this, then we want to use something so they can type in a number. So we're gonna use a function called scanf. This is gonna scan the screen for any user input. And here we're gonna use, just because we're using floats, we need to use a float, a percent f for float, for a placeholder. All right, so f, and then we put a comma here, and then we're gonna use an ampersand, and we need to use that when we're using a variable in this function here. Right after, we need to use an ampersand there. All right, just because we're getting a variable, assigning it, we're assigning it the value from the user to uh, this variable here. All right, so now the next one, we want to print out the calculation, right? We want to make a calculation on the next printf, and we're gonna do something like this. So I want to put, we need to put placeholders, and they would be floats because that's all we got here. So float, let's say we want to multiply uh, that value of a by b. All right, so another percent f, and then we want to output the information. So percent f again, and let's break that line there. And now let's go ahead and type our values here by separated by commas, a, b, a, and then let's do the real calculation right here. Actually right here, b. All right, so we have declared a variable which we did not actually assign any value, because we are using a function here to grab the user's input and assign that value, that input to this variable here, and we need to put the ampersand right after it. All right, so for this to work. And then here we're actually doing printing out the values of those variables right here so the users can see it. And then here we're making the calculation on the second argument. This is, remember, this is the formatting string and this is the second argument, and we need to replace each of these placeholders in order by the variables right there. So the A goes here, the B goes here, and the results of those will be there. And that would be the last variable, which is a calculation right there. All right, so let's save it. Let's see if that works, and let's build it and run it. And we add a number, and the number would be 10, 13, and then 13 multiplied by 13 would be 130. All right, so as you can see there, we have some calculation now. This gave it to me in this, as you, I was able to type it in my terminal. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Right. So anyway, as you can see here, we made a calculation and we asked for the user for some input. We save it on a variable, and we were able to make a calculation. So I wanted you to be aware of that. Now there is another thing that I also want you to know, to learn. And the thing is that we have functions, and we have some functions in the C programming languages that are located in another header file, and this header file would be, let me just include it right here just to um, let you know. All right, because I want you to be aware of it. It's called math, and then that H, that would be the extension. All right, and let me show you the function. Let's take all this off, make sure that uh, you have it referenced or saved up somewhere, or you can just comment everything out. All right, remember that you can comment stuff like this, and you can just, all right, we can do that if you want, right, with a forward slash and asterisk, and then the asterisk, and then the forward slash again just to close it. That's multiple line commenting. Now here, what I want to do is I want to declare a, say something about power. Let me use a function to find the power of something. All right, let's actually find uh, the square root. Let's call this SQ. All right, so the SQ, square root of something, and then we'll do the power just to show you, right? So the square root function would be SQRT, I believe, right? And then we put parentheses there. Hopefully I'm spelling that right. There are so many ways of, actually I think JavaScript has the same function. All right, so and then here we take a floating number here. All right, make sure that you put the floating number. So if we want to find out the square root of 2, we need to actually input it as a floating number there. So it would be 2.0. And then we use a print function here, printf, to input this value in there. So 2 to the square root of 2, square root of 2 is, all right, and then we put the percent %f, and then here we separate it and we put the variable. All right, make sure that you close this with a semicolon, and we should be good to go. I don't see anything there that any mistakes. Let's just, I already saved it with my keyboard. I have that habit, and let's just run it. And so let's go ahead. It's actually still right here. The square root of 2 is 1.41414. Right, now let me show you the other one. Let me show you the power, how we do the power. Now there is a bunch of math functions that you can find out in the C library. So make sure you Google that. You can Google that and find out any function you want. You can find a whole list of them. I'm just showing you a couple of them here. So let's say we want to find the power of something. Let's just call this the power. The power. And let's, I don't know, I just wanted to write it down like that. The power. All right. And let's assign it a function called pow. And this is the same thing in JavaScript too. And now remember that here we need to actually input it as floating numbers. That's why I declare this with a floating, a float type. All right. So let's say we want to find out the power, the 4 to the I don't know, 8th power. This is how we write that down. The base and the exponent, right? The exponent. So let's go ahead and print this out. Let's just copy. Let me just copy this function here. I'm tired of writing this down. And let's just say the power. All right. And let's just say that the power 4 to the power 4 to the a power is, all right. I think I done this correctly, and let's just save it. Let's build it first and see if we have any error. It does have an error there. This is on 31. There's an error there. There we go. This is why. All right. Let's save it again. Let's see what happens. There we go. The square root of 2. All right. That's actually the same thing. What am I doing? All right. Let me just enter and let's see what happened. I think I messed up here. All right, this is commented out, and this is comment out, and 4 to the power should be good. Let's run it again and see what happened. 4 to the 8 power is 65536 dot many zeros. All right. So you get the idea, and like I said before, you can find the function. You can just do a little Google search and find the list. You will search it like this: list of functions for list of math functions for C programming, and you probably get the website there with all the lists. So that's easy to find. But anyway, this is how you will use a function in the C programming language, and this is how you will use the placeholders there, and you will also use the scan function to get user input and make some calculations right there on the printf functions. Pretty cool. I hope that you liked this tutorial. If you did, please favorite, please like it, support. That's all I ask. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. The Website Boy out.